unless you was trying to go broke. Oh damn, man, you niggas is the worst. Savage statue out your crib, then drop you in a hearse. Baby, please, when we nervous, stop reaching in your purse. Nigga went and bought a house when he could've bought a verse. Niggas dumb as fuck. Imagine if I did that stupid shit when I was coming up. My crib feel like a hedge fund. I be in here just thumbing up. No, I'm SN1 till I'm done fucking London up. Niggas made me nauseous. I had enough of broke boys. I can't talk to broke boys. Yeah, I can't talk to broke boys. I can't talk to broke.
So much for your assistance.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Oscar is gonna drop his first episode of his own damn show this Sunday. Ain't that right, Oscar? What's it called, by the way, Oscar? What's your show called?
I have no...
He doesn't have a name yet, but the nameless show will be around Oscar's journey buying a business.
Yeah, that's the name.
Let's get it. Thank you so much, Sushi. Thank you so much. You have a good day. We'll be back. We'll be back next week to try the pasta.
Yes, you should.
Perfect.
If you don't, I will kill you.
No, we'll be back. That's for sure. That's a deal.
How is it possible to buy companies in the UK when you're not living there?
Good question, Oscar. I am not in London as we speak.
Exactly.
I'm on the busy, noisy, chaotic streets of Copenhagen. Look, you need to sort of depersonalize this. You need to understand who you are and what you are not. You are the deal principle, right? You are the source of inspiration to pick a sector, to set up a holding company, and to start, driving the process of speaking with business owners, trying to line up a good deal. That's your role, right? Your role is not necessarily, once you've bought the company, to show up, work a 9 to 5, turn the lights on at 6:30 in the morning, cut the lights out at 8 p.m. at night, and work whatever many hours that is a week. That ain't your role. You're just an investor. So it doesn't really matter where you live. I would just put a caveat to that to say, obviously, if you're doing what I do, which is leverage buyouts, i.e. attracting debt from banks as part of the proceeds to buy these businesses, the banks want to know something about you. It's called KYC, aka Know Your Customer. They want to know your source of income. They want to know what your personal track record is. They want to know where you live, whether you have a criminal record. So if you're a crook, a criminal, living in my country, Gambia, for example, as your domicile, as your residence, good luck raising debt from a UK bank. If you are a, civil member of society, haven't broken any laws, have some decent track record, whether it's buying businesses, running businesses, or just being in business, then it matters less where you live, as long as you live, I would say, within the European Union or the UK. In other words, long story short, doesn't matter where you live. Every deal I've ever closed feels the same. It feels like it's not gonna close. It's fucking strange.
Why?
Because this is high stakes stuff. What do you got involved? You got money, you got emotion, your emotion, other people's emotion. You have value, right? Something of value we're trying to buy. Someone's trying to sell. You need permission from other people, right? So they need our permission, i.e. we need to be willing buyer. We need their permission, they need to be willing seller. We need the bank's permission. They need to come with the capital, right? Come with the leverage. And so all in all, by the way, look at this lovely lady here. Hello, how are you? You have a great day.
Let's go.
But there's always a way.
Yeah.
I feel good. I feel like we're gonna close one deal very, very, very shortly, I hope. We're gonna buy one company very, very, very shortly into the HVAC group. With a bit of luck, we're then gonna buy another company very, very, very shortly within the steel group. So that's 2 transactions this year we're trying to do. Separate to that, we're trying to raise capital. And if we raise that capital, we're gonna go do more deals. Imagine playing Jenga. Jenga is that game where you have like the pieces, and with each piece, it changes the dynamic and the shape and the form of the structure, and you remove a piece and it's wobbly. You then place a new piece in a new location, and the idea is to just play this game until it topples, and obviously to try for it to not topple. Deal making is like playing Jenga on a moving platform. We'll get the figure to above 4. We understand we need to hit that 4 million mark. So we're gonna hit it and we're gonna get it done. So yeah, man, excited. Thanks for your support. Bye. When we buy a business, we have a financial model, meaning we have financial assumptions on how that business will perform, right? Running properly, in my mind, is that we are somewhat in line with those financial projections and not way off. So we're sort of making the amount of money we thought we would make. We're paying our debts on time. Things are running somewhat smooth. I'm less interested in the nitty-gritty, daily grind operations. In American football, what's it called? Rushing and tackling. You know what I'm saying? I'm not so interested in that. I have ongoing calls with my management team. It also depends on what season it is. With our steel group, it's somewhat mature. So the calls there are super high level, basically around the next deal, right? So right now, we're trying to buy a company. Our steel group does about 33 million in revenue, 34. We're trying to buy a company that'll add another, call it 8-9 million on the top line. So that'll grow our top line by, call it 30%. We're trying to get that deal done this year. We're trying to get it done by September, maybe October. My involvement is on trying to close those deals. In the HVAC, we're very much in war mode right now. We're trying to close one M&A transaction. We're trying to buy a company within the next ASAP, essentially. We're trying to raise money. We're in talks with 2 very large institutional funds. We're managing that process with both funds, trying to keep them in the game. We may need an equity contribution to close one of those larger funds. So we're sort of managing an equity fundraise as well, trying to raise about 5 million pounds of equity, having conversations with people in our network. So it's all happening all at the same time. That's where my bandwidth is focused. I'm the deal guy. There's no point me showing up and trying to turn the machines on and off. I mean, I wouldn't know where to start. So how do I make sure it's all running when I'm not there? Good people. You have people that make sure that it's running, who show up every day. And I can then do my job, which is to create value. I mean, if we do this deal in the steel group, irrespective of what's going on operationally, we grow the top line by 30%. We grow from 33, 34 million to like 43, 44 million in like 1 year in organic. Earnings go up in that case by another 20, 25% as well. So that's where I can add value. Hey, I've been invited to Azerbaijan. I didn't tell Oscar this, but I've been invited to Baku. Formula One. So Oscar, this is a formal proposition to you, sir. Do you want to come and hang out in Baku, Azerbaijan, and look at some cars go really fast, right?
I always dreamed about that.
Always, yeah.
No, I mean it's nice.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Formula One?
Yeah, Formula One. Yeah,
100%.
It's in September. I was in Gambia earlier this year, hanging out with my boy Omar Ali. That's a very good friend of mine, and he had a few friends from Azerbaijan, and they invited us, and I was dead serious. I was like, hey, I would love to come. They were dead serious. They followed up through Omar Ali and said, hey, come through. We got you. Tickets, flight, accommodation. I was like, okay, sign me up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So we're gonna hopefully hit up Baku, Azerbaijan. Towards the end of this year, I gotta do the Middle East. So I'm gonna do Dubai. That's a vacation. Saudi, and then Kuwait. And then another thing, I just recently took up Muay Thai. I would love to do a fight camp in Thailand. So this is Oscar's itinerary, if he should choose to accept. And obviously there'll be some Londons in there. There'll be some Gambias in there.
That's crazy. That's a lineup.
It's a lineup.
Yeah,
it's a serious lineup between now and Q1. So Oscar, here we have a deal that you showed me of a company for sale, does roughly 3.6 million in revenue, does roughly 400, £500,000 in pre-tax profit. We're then going through the balance sheet. I'm giving you a Q&A test and asking you, walk me through the balance sheet, tell me what you see. You've got tangible assets, they're very thin. We then get to debtors. Debtors are customers that owe you money, meaning you've rendered a service and you're yet to be paid for that service. It's an IOU, they owe you some money. Now the good thing with debtors is you can normally do what's called invoice discounting as a way of borrowing money against the value of the debtor book. Basically what that means is you've done work today, you're going to get paid at a later date, for example, tomorrow or in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Banks can step in and pre-finance the value of those future payments, providing liquidity today. And that's a method that we can use as part of our funding. We then go to the next line item, and they have an even higher short-term creditors. Now, I explained to you that short-term creditors, all that means is debts that are owed. When you do a balance sheet is a snapshot in time, right? It says, as of this date, what did the company own and what did the company owe? Short-term liabilities are liabilities that are due on this side, i.e. not at a later date, not in the next financial year, but as of this current financial year. Okay? Now, having such a high short-term liability item, to me, suggests that they've already done what's called invoice discounting. So what does that tell me? That tells me a few things. One, if they've already done invoice discounting on their debtor book, well, that means your ability to do invoice discounting on that debtor book is not possible. It also tells me that when you make them an offer, give them a valuation, and your offer is going to be on what's called a cash-free, debt-free basis, they have to clear the liability before they hand you the business. Cash-free, debt-free. When you buy a business, usually when you make an offer, you give a valuation, but you also have to explain what are the conditions of the business, what are the conditions of the valuation. And basically there's kind of two ways you can approach this. I'm sure there's much smarter finance bros than me. I'm going to keep it simple. There's two ways you can approach it. One is called cash-free, debt-free, and the other is a continued balance sheet basis. Cash-free, debt-free means when they hand you the business, they're going to hand it to you free of any liabilities. That includes higher purchase liabilities, debts, that loans that they took out for their plant and machinery and equipment and tools, long-term liabilities such as bank loans, but also short-term liabilities such as invoice discounting. They're going to hand you the business free of any debt, i.e. unencumbered. They're also going to hand you the business free of any excess cash. Now, any cash above and beyond the working capital requirements, which again, remember, working capital is just the minimum amount of capital that's required to operate the business under normal conditions. Any excess is called excess cash. Imagine you have a business that does £1 million of net profits per year, net after taxes, after everything, £1 million a year. And after 3 years, the business owner never took out any dividends. So they just kept stacking up cash. There might be £3 million of excess cash, which could have been paid out as dividends, that was not paid out as dividends. And so that excess cash gets paid out as part of the transaction. So when you buy a company, it's either cash-free, debt-free, or on a continued balance sheet basis. If it's cash-free, debt-free, the owner hands you the business free of any liabilities, free of any debts, as well as free of any excess cash. Now that's a long way, Oscar, to tell you that this particular business probably has working capital challenges. They've already invoice discounted their debtor book. That's a lever you can no longer pull on. You can no longer use that because the business has already used that tool to attract debt. So you can only get a cash flow loan, and the business already has some debt that the owner will have to pay down as part of the cash-free, debt-free calculation. Talking for 5 minutes here, trying to simplify it. It's not really that complicated, but when you're buying a business, not only do you need to understand how much it earns, the income statement, the profit and loss, but you also need to understand the balance sheet.
It's big pimpin', baby.
I'm gonna call my boy impromptu, Omar Ali, see if he even picks up.
Hey, Yus.
Mr. Omar Ali, brother.
Oh, yeah? Oscar?
Mr. Oscar De La Hoya himself. He wants to come to Baku.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Obviously, we'll cover from our side, but is it possible as a spectator?
Let me ask.
Ask. We'll cover everything our side. It's more, can Oscar be there with the camera?
I don't know, but they'll be expensive. It's not something that you can get easily. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's mainly through connections and stuff. What I can tell you is that he's super fucking well connected over there. So that's what I can tell you. Yeah.
We like super well connected. I got you, my dude.
But he knows a lot about you. He did his investigations.
Oh yeah? I'm a credible individual thanks to these documentaries that I'm making.
But 100%, some person,
Yes,
you will
sir.
be there.
Done.
And it's either me or Oscar or the three of us together.
Hey, that sounds like a plan to me, sir. Baku, Azerbaijan, Formula 1, September. Let's do it. How strict and specific should you be on the actual business that you're targeting once you have a sector hypothesis, right? So once you decide you want to buy businesses in one type of sector and do a roll-up, how adjacent, how far can you deviate? The money is the master. Why do we do private equity? to have fun, to express ourselves, right? Our expression, our art form is business, and this is the path of business that we choose, M&A, to add value to people and to unlock value for the business owners, etc. But at the end of the day, the fuel to do any of this is money. I don't like falling in love with businesses that I can't buy, either because they're too expensive, the multiples are too high, they don't fit within a strategy, meaning they're going to destroy value, such that I don't get the arbitrage. I talked about arbitrage in the other episodes, where you pay a 3, 4, 5x multiple for one business, but as part of a larger group, maybe you can command an 8, 9, 10x multiple. If you just have a series of businesses that don't have any synergies, then you haven't created any arbitrage. Therefore, you simply have the individual independent value of each separate business. And so when I say the money is the master, what I mean is, what is your return on investment strategy? How do you plan on making money for yourself, for your investors, for the banks? The way that I like to approach it is having arbitrage as a backstory, such that the businesses do need to have some synergies, because at the end of the day, I want to pay 3, 4, 5x multiple, but I want to, in 10 years or whatever, exit at a higher multiple, above and beyond my entry price. Second, when you're buying these companies, you need to compel the capital. You need to give your backers, whether it's the equity guys or the leverage guys, i.e. the banks, compelling reasons to invest with you and into your deals. And the capital may have certain requirements. They may say, well, we like your first target, but we don't like your second and third targets, for example. We are having these discussions right now. How religious are we? I can tell you one thing, CEO Paul and I can have whatever ideas we wish. If we're trying to raise 80 million pounds of capital, well, what is the capital want? What is the capital's demand on us as deal sponsors? The money is the master. There is no short answer. There are no rules. Buy whatever business you're able to transact with. But ultimately, you're doing this to make some money, whilst having fun, whilst being ethical, whilst unlocking and creating value for others. What is the money's demand on your strategy? What is the capital's commandment to you? Because the money is the master. Hope that makes sense. Go get you some money.